The woman who was Venezuela's vice president under Nicolás Maduro will be sworn in as president herself later. Like Maduro, Delcy Rodriguez has long been a staunch critic of the United States. But now she seems to want to work with the country, or maybe she feels she has to work with the country that's just seized her predecessor. She wrote on social media,
"We extend an invitation to the US government to work together on a cooperation agenda."
Yeah, collaboration is what she's interested in. Donald Trump made clear to reporters that she would have to do what he wants.
Don't ask me who's in charge, because I'll give you an answer and it'll be very controversial.
What does that mean?
It means we're in charge.
Have you spoken with her?
We're in charge.
Don't ask me, but I'm going to tell you anyway. We're in charge, says Donald Trump. Steve Erlanger is the New York Times chief diplomatic correspondent. Morning, Steve.
Good morning.
Happy New Year to you.
Same to you.
The snap. I mean, from a military point of view, we're talking to a former senior military figure in the US later on in the program. A very successful military operation against Maduro. Is there anything to suggest the follow-up plans are similarly detailed?
There is a plan B, which Trump talked about in his wandering press conference when he was even more tired than usual. Which is there are a lot of American forces still in the region, and he says he will put troops on the ground if necessary. I don't think he wants to. I don't think anyone wants to occupy Venezuela, but I think there are ways to push American power on what's left of the Venezuelan government. I mean, what's interesting to me is that the government decided to work with Maduro's successors rather than work with the opposition that actually won the election that we say Maduro stole.
So what does Delcy Rodriguez do then? I mean, is she just going to have to say, well, whatever America wants, reasonably, I'm going to have to give it to them?
I think she really has to be careful, because otherwise she could be assassinated also. I mean, there are a lot of people who favor Maduro, a lot of people who don't like what's just happened. I think, everybody, this is really mysterious. I mean, I don't know myself. I can't even quite imagine how America runs a country from afar. Now, Trump seems very interested in oil and very interested in putting money in American pockets, but also certainly in Venezuelan pockets. But that's going to take a really, really long time. I think what the Americans really want also is to make sure that the Cubans leave and the ties with Russia and China are cut. I think this was actually one of the strategic motivations for what just happened. And I think Venezuela is certainly better off without Maduro, but will it be better off with Trump in charge? It's not so clear to me.
And also, it's not quite clear what the precise objective here. Is it a policing action against drug threats? Is it regime change? Trump said it was regime change afterwards. Is it economic plunder? Is it this new Don Roe doctrine, which is to say we have a sphere of influence that includes South America and we don't want Russia or China in it, so every time we think there's a country that's too close to those, we will take steps against it? Or is it all of those?
Well, I think it's mostly all of them. I mean, one can justify everything after the fact. I don't think it had much to do with drug running. I think that was the excuse. It's certainly the legal excuse to arrest Maduro, right? I mean, because they claimed he was arrested legally by the FBI, just being helped out by the U.S. military to face charges in America, which is what they did to Noriega in Panama in 89-90, right? But Noriega wasn't the official president of the country. He just was running it, sort of like Trump would be, I guess, in Venezuela now.
Yeah. Is the overarching point here then, Stephen, that I'm very interested in this concept, because we hear a lot of piety about international law. We'll hear a lot of piety about international law on this program over the next few hours. But it strikes me that international law doesn't actually mean anything in the real world, because international law always plays second fiddle to power. And ultimately, the winners dictate what is right and wrong. The powerful dictate what is right and wrong. And Trump is the most powerful man in the world, particularly in this part of the world. So bleating about what the law says you can and can't do is almost irrelevant.
Well, I happen to think you're right. I mean, it goes back to Rousseau. I mean, I've never been a big believer in international law. I've never been a big believer in the International Court of justice either, which seems to often to me to be a victor's court. So in a sense, it's a function of the sort of power you're speaking about. What's troubling, of course, and is seriously troubling, is if, as it is doing, the United States turns its back on the UN Charter, which it has signed and ratified. That is a kind of international law, and it's clearly been broken. Now, power can do as it pleases, and everyone must deal with it. For Europe, it's an especial problem because the principles matter. Of course, they matter. But frankly, Ukraine matters. And Ukraine matters to Europe a lot more than Venezuela matters, except perhaps to Pedro Sanchez. But to keep Trump on side for European aims to have a sovereign, independent Ukraine and to push back Russia, that means almost given that there'll be hypocrisy. I mean, Europe is not going to criticize Trump overly much on Venezuela because they need him to help with Ukraine, which is closer and more important and more strategically vital to Europe than whatever happens in South America.
And yet there's no suggestion that Putin is going to be punished in this chimerical world of international law because of what he has done in Ukraine. I mean, the best case scenario is Ukraine kind of gets what it has now and Russia bides its time for longer. The argument that's being put by some people is that Trump's behaviour here emboldens China to do with Taiwan and Putin to do with Ukraine. Do you accept that as an argument?
Well, I understand the argument, but I don't think Putin needed this to do what he did in Ukraine. Maybe it works the other way.
Yeah.
I mean, Putin did what he did long before, Trump did anything like this. For China, I mean, we all recognize there's one China, right? I mean, that's what we all say. And if the world is going to be hemispherical somehow, I mean, these three boxes, the Russian world, the American world, the Chinese world, then it is likely that Xi Jinping sees Trump as more likely to put up with pressure on Taiwan. And of course, Xi also is not a child anymore. He's getting old, so he may feel the pressure. And they've just practiced a big kind of sea embargo barricade on Taiwan, and they're building anti-ship missiles. So, I mean, China's gearing up. Now, whether it's going to do it or not, I have no idea. Will Trump come to Taiwan's defense? I have no idea.
Yeah.
I would like to think so. But yeah, I think it emboldens Xi. I don't think it has much impact on Vladimir Putin, to be honest.
Interesting stuff, Steve. Great to speak to you as ever. It's going to be a busy new year for you, I suspect.
You too. All the best to both of you.
That's Steve Erlanger there, the New York Times chief diplomatic correspondent. And there is going to be possibly at least a vote at the UN Security Council today. According to Steve Swinford in the Times, the UK is going to abstain from it, which highlights in many ways Kate's Starmer's difficult position on this. He probably has very strong views about international law, but he can't really say many of them about Donald Trump.